Perfect. Let's do it. BD, Lori, how are you doing today?
Very good,
Hi.
thanks. Hi, Denny.
Hey.
Hi. So first off, tell me, how excited are you both for season three to finally premiere?
Very,
I'm
very, very.
excited. Yeah.
You make
Yeah.
these things months and months and months, sometimes year, more than a year in advance, and then you kind of forget a little bit about them, and then when they come back, it creates this whole excitement about it, like
Mm,
almost as a new audience member, like, oh, I'm like trying to remember what actually happens
Yeah.
and how it unfolds and what are the fun,
hmm
juicy parts.
hmm
So we're like, it's like kids, like we discover it all again, and it's really nice.
Good, good. So what can we expect from your character this season? And how have they evolved? Let's start with you, BD.
Wally is, Nora's dad and has had struggles over the seasons. I think primarily his main struggle has been his relationship to his daughter and as a widower, his desire to move on with his life and what affects his relationship to her. And that's a somewhat heavy kind of question. Of course, there's lots of funny, wacky things that are going on all around it. And in season three, that question is like becomes really big. Like he finds himself in a very low place, in a kind of hilariously low place. Like we try to make it as funny as possible. And but when you really look at it, it's a pretty serious situation he's in, and his struggle is funny and but kind of hopefully real at the same time.
Yeah.
And the way that he finds himself out of it, or how he comes out of it, and where he goes, and how it ends up is really heartwarming. It's very like if you're rooting for him at all, which we all hope that that people are, then you're really going to be satisfied by how it turns out, because it looks really bad in the beginning.
Yeah, yeah. And Lori, same for you. What can we expect from your character this season?
Lots. Lots of stuff you wouldn't expect. Well, you've seen the
Mm,
episode, so you
mm.
know, you know,
She gets
I'm
into quite a bit of mischief.
she's gonna try different things. See?
Yes.
To say the least.
Yeah. Well, Awkwafina also makes her directorial debut with this season. How was it seeing her behind the camera and taking direction from her?
It's
She did
wonderful.
her homework. I'm really proud of her, just like BD in season two when he directed
Hmm
an episode. He did a lot of his homework, and I was really proud of that. It's a whole different, wearing a different cap.
Yeah, yeah.
And you got to account for everybody else. Uh, you know, the scenes where the set is, and the mood and everything. And she did that. She's learning from every experience that she has been given in her career, in her life. So I'm happy.
I
Good,
think for me, it's an
good.
example of how I think of her. Sometimes I think of her as my actual daughter. Like I really, really am invested in her success. I'm rooting for her. I want her to make good choices. And then to see her kind of, taking this big responsibility and running with it and doing well with it and being confident and grown up and all that stuff, it's very hard. It makes you really realize how much you care about a person, actually.
Yeah, for sure. And of course, you all are creating a show that's funny, but how would you say it's relatable to today's times?
I think the family relationships, whenever you have a good show with a good family and really interesting, but unmistakable family dynamics, there's you're really on your road on a road to possible success. And I think that is what our family is selling. Of course, Nora's world outside of the family, outside of the house, is a whole other thing that is a big part of Nora's desire to find who she is and what she'll do with her life. But the family dynamics, as far as what we're dealing with, are very recognizable. And I think that we
Hmm
turn them into very wacky situations and make a lot of kind of extreme, bizarre, funny, off the wall things happen and opportunities for off the wall humor. But in the
hmm
but on the bottom level, on the at the very foundation of it is a kind of truth that we know
Yeah.
as Americans and as Asian and as also as Asian Americans, but primarily as just an American family, and that we recognize and bring our own experience to as individuals, as individual performers.
Definitely. Lori, would you like to add to that?
He said it.
He said it. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, then ultimately, what do you hope audiences take away from the show?
And I got a lot because I'm really first dash second generation Chinese American. So my reality is totally different. When I see BD walking in, when I see him, I could never. When I started in the business back in 1969, I was the only one.
Hmm.
I couldn't find any other. All the
Yeah.
flower drum songs and things like that had been done. They had all kind of basically retired. So I had nobody except the African American community to hang with.
Yeah.
So that's my reality, is that anything I bring in is also connected with the African American. And then I was under the wing of a Jewish family. So then all the knowledge I learned from the Jewish family, inducted. I had my first Seder. I went to my first Seder. And,
Wow.
so that's so exciting because, to learn the religions of everybody, it's all different. So introducing my reality to this show was important to me.
I bet.
You know.
BD.
I think that the show, I don't know. I feel like we really primarily just want to entertain people, and
Hmm.
that and secondarily we want them to recognize something that seems real to them. That's what I want. I
Yeah.
don't want it to just be. And so I think what's fun for us is to take something that's real and bend it and twist it and add to it and make it as outrageous as it is, and
Hmm.
yet still retain that sense of I recognize who these people are and I recognize what these relationships are like. The
Hmm.
father-daughter relationship, the mother-son relationship, the grandmother-daughter, grandmother. All of those relationships are potentially recognizable and heartwarming. And what we're doing is pushing the envelope of the comedy to make it um, kind of nutty.
Yeah.
And we want people to accept and embrace that. We want them to walk away and say, "Yeah, I can't explain it, but I loved that, even though it was ridiculous." And there's a heart to it that a lot of shows don't have. It
Yeah.
has a heart that a lot of shows don't have. And I
Mm.
think that's one of our main selling points.
Yeah, for sure. Fantastic. Well, before I get off the call, do you mind if I take a screenshot for social media?
Of course.
Yeah,
Okay, one, two, three. Perfect. BD, Lori, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
sure. Thank
Thank
you.
you.